Hello crafty friends, it's Donna here, and I've got a set of 4 cards today that use these beautiful wax seals as the main element. Welcome everybody. I'm on YouTube and my blog as Donna is Playing Paper, but also on Instagram as DonnaDoll74. You might have spotted from the photos that these are not actually real wax seals. They are in fact embossed die cuts, but they really do have a 3D look to them. Each of the seals is held to the page in about 3 places, and they have a beautiful, beautiful embossed texture, which I'm hoping to catch on camera. Of course, you can use these seals on the back of your envelopes to seal them up, but I thought I'd look at a way to stretch them by using the seals as the hero element on some different card designs. Let's get started. I'm beginning with this Simple Dots 3D embossing folder, and I've run that through my die cutting machine on a very, very light sandwich because it is a 3D folder, and now I'm trimming it down to size. I often like to pull away the diagonal corners of my double-sided tape when I'm sticking something down. That way I can line up the other 2 corners and only press down on the places where the adhesive has been exposed when I'm sure I've got my card in the right place. I'm going to trim this card down so that it has a very, very small margin, and then add some vaguely colour coordinated seals. My first idea was to run a strip across to each of the seals, and whilst I quite like this idea, I ended up taking a different tack and using just one of those strips. I'm going to attach this towards the bottom of my card, and then using foam tape, I'm going to just add those seals in a way that pleases me, as well as a sentiment from the Happy Birthday Sentiments set. I'm going to link everything that I used in all of these cards in the box below. It's a simple card, but I really like all the pretend texture from those seals. For the second card, let's combine the seals with some other elements. I'm using this die cut from the Lavender and Roses set. I have these in gold and rose gold and silver, but today I've chosen rose gold because I think it works best with the colours. I don't know about you, but it takes me a lot of wrangling to make thread look effortless. Once I've finally tamed that beast, I'm going to layer it up and make a little bit of a cluster in the bottom right hand corner of my panel. I've used another 3D embossing folder on this background, this time called Ben's Plaid. I'm also going to add a sentiment from the Happy Birthday Sentiment sheets, and as always, because it's a black sentiment, I'm going to go around the outside of that with my memento marker just to hide the white core of the cardstock. I'm using a little piece of press and seal just to hold everything together, and then I'll stick everything back down all at once except the sentiment. I'll stick that down separately at the end so that I can do a double check that it's definitely horizontal. I'm going to use mostly double-sided tape to stick this down, but I'll also add just a little bit of glue around that cotton and at the very ends, just to be sure that everything sticks down. I've used foam tape on just the wax seal. Once I've removed the press and seal, I'll add some foam tape to the sentiment, and I'll pop that up as well. It's a really simple card. I actually didn't make any of these elements, just put them together, but I really like the way that it's come out. This next card is a variation on the same theme, so I'm just going to talk about what's different. First of all, I'm using shimmer cardstock and this little foliage die, well, half of the die, to cut out some small elements. I'm going to add just a little dab of ink to the ends of those so that they don't sit as one flat colour. Because this is shimmer cardstock, I'm just drying that off with my heat tool, because the shiny surface means that the ink takes a little bit longer to dry. And then I'm going to pop those all out, and I'm going to construct a similar type of arrangement to the last card. I'm using the same Ben's Plaid 3D embossing folder, but this time, instead of covering the whole base, I'm just going to add a strip and also just border that. I'll use double-sided tape and stick this border on from the front. Then I'll add some more double-sided tape and add the whole panel to my card. I don't always bother to do this, but here's an idea for lining things up exactly on your card. I've placed the card background into my MISTI right in the corner, and then I'm lining up my panel also in that corner before pressing it down. A little more cotton wrangling, I think. This time, instead of one big floral element, I'm going to add all of these little pieces that I've cut and dabbed with ink, and I'll put some of them facing up and some facing down. I'm gluing the elements down just at the ends. I won't worry too much about the stems because they're going to be under my wax seal. Once again, I'm going to use foam squares for my wax seals. I think that that extra height gives that extra illusion that they're really wax and very 3D. The sentiment is from the same Happy Birthday Sentiments pack, but this time I decided I'd like it to have just a little colour, and so I'm going to ink blend on some of the same colour that I used on my little floral elements. I'm just giving that a wipe in case there's any excess ink on this glossy paper, but there didn't seem to be. So far, all of my cards have had a definite peachy colour theme, but for this last card, I'm going to use a mix of seals in lots of different colours, and I think this is in fact the simplest card of all. I would like to use this embossing folder, which is called Tufted Elegance, sideways. I want to have the diamonds facing up on my card, and so I've run that through my die cutting machine with some paper hanging out the edges and then cut it down to size. And then all I'm going to do is give that a background and layer on some of my favourite seals in a way that pleases me. I'll add a tiny little sentiment in the bottom corner, and that card is done. Simple, but very pretty. That's all for today's cards. I hope you've enjoyed looking at a different way to use a product. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will be back soon with some more cards. Bye for now.